Hey guys, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I wanted to do a quick share of this belated Christmas card that I made for a friend of mine who was in real need of some uplifting cheer, and I threw everything crafty than fun at it. I first stamped out this really cute girl from the Together Anywhere stamp set from the Greeting Farm, and I really like her because she actually reminds me a lot of my friend. I paper pieced her little coat using just a little scrap piece of pattern paper that had polka dots on it. And as you'll see, I kind of used some Copic markers to shade in the shadowed areas onto the coat as well. I fussy cut that out. I inked the edges with a black marker, and I paper pieced that right onto this little stamped image girl that I colored with my Copic markers. And if you're interested in the colors that I used, I will link to my blog post where I list all of the materials. Then I took my Versamarker pen. I don't know why people don't use this more often, but I really love it. It's for heat embossing. It's basically like a Versamark pad, but I just drew in all these little random snowflakes, and I used clear embossing powder and heat embossed those snowflakes. So you can't see it in the video, but there is a nice shimmer and shine to these little snowflakes falling down. And then I used a Tim Holtz Distress ink pad, this tumbled glass, and I used my blending tool and blended all around for a blue sky background. I didn't mask off the little girl. I just kind of came as close as I could and gave her kind of, I think, almost like a pretty glow around her. Then for the outside frame, I used this W+9 die, this little scalloped rectangle, to cut out this card front. And I love it because it has the stitching right in it. And then I used this Lawn Fawn stitched hillside die, and I made a kind of temporary stencil that I used to stencil in this snowy ground. And the way I did that is with this Deco Art Snow-Tex, which I love. Mine had gotten a little bit dry, but I just added a bit of water and I used a palette knife and put that ground in, and I love that texture. Plus, a bonus, which I wasn't expecting, the Snow-Tex actually made it through the stitched area of the stencil that I had made with this die. So it came out with a nice little stitched border along the ground as well that I thought was great because it matched the stitching in the scalloped rectangle frame. And then I used my Deco Art Snow Rider to create the kind of more puffy dimensional snowflakes falling. And because, when you have a snowy scene like this, it really screams out for sparkle. I use this Studio G glitter glue that's kind of an iridescent color, and I hit the tops of all of the snow on the ground. Hopefully you can see the sparkle there. And also hit all of the little puffy snowflakes from the Snow Rider. So that's the front of the card. And I just popped it up with a little fun foam that I'd gotten from the Dollar Tree because it's really thin fun foam. And so this is still great to mail. And the other thing is that the Snow Rider, when it dries, it's not puffy like liquid applique, so it keeps its structure, its form, so it'll travel really well through the mail. Then for the inside, I use the Warm Winter Wishes from this Lawn Fawn Bah Humbug stamp set. There it is right there. And it's obviously straight, but I put it on my stamping block in a kind of half circle. So it came out like this. And I used my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, but in the Luxe formulation, which stays wet just long enough to do heat embossing. So I used clear embossing powder and I heat embossed that sentiment. And then to have some continuity with a little paper pieced coat, I used the same scrap of pattern paper and cut out some little banners. I only glued one side of the banners so that each of them would have a little dimension. And then it looked a little bit plain, even though I had glued these in pairs kind of askew for a little whimsy. I punched out using my Martha Stewart punch around the page, just the corner punch, which is the aspen set, because this is just the right size, I thought, to kind of anchor these little banners. So I punched that out of black cardstock and used my clear Wink of Stella to give those little snowflakes some shine too. I really had fun making this mixed media holiday card. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day. Thanks so much for watching.